You're probably wondering, is this guy still making games? Did that mouse game ever come out? Where's more Binding of Isaac Explained? What's going on? Well, wonder no more, I have great news. I have decided that I will finish 4 games within a year. I'm going to get so much more work done, and I'm going to make more videos about it too. I'm going to get on that grind set. Welcome everybody to the great announcement video. Edmund says that he wants to work with me again when Mugenics is done. In approximately 1 year. He's gonna be pretty busy, and I'm gonna be busy too. I have chosen 4 of the many games that I started working on to finish them within that time. And then hopefully I'll start some new games with Edmund. I'll try to make update videos every 1 or 2 months, so keep an eye out for those. Also, I've continued the Binding of Isaac Explained series, so if you want to learn more about Isaac, check out those videos. And check out the latest video in that series where I talk about save games that just released recently. So what are these games that I will be finishing? Let me start by giving you some more context first. First of all, Poor Mouse. In 2016, I released the trailer announcing my game Poor Mouse, a game where you jump around in an open world and you can fight eagles and snakes. Hugely ambitious project. Complete failure, I did not deliver. I didn't have enough experience and the scope was too big. I kept adding random features that weren't important and I didn't work on the basic gameplay that would have been vital to finishing the project. After 3 years I had created a huge mess full of assets that were created especially for the game, but the game didn't have a functioning gameplay loop, which is obviously the wrong way to make a game. But on the bright side, at least I learned a lot of interesting things about programming while I was working on that game that definitely made me a better programmer. But I eventually abandoned Poor Mouse. Heartbreaking, I know. I moved on to other games, several other games, most of which also never got finished, except for one, Ballfrog. I released the game Ballfrog. I was finally getting work done again and I released my beloved Ballfrog, and nobody bought it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine, and you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they won't understand.
Now obviously that's pretty sad. I gave up Poor Mouse, which already had a modest hype behind it, and then I struggled with getting attention on my new game Ballfrog. Ballfrog is a great game, but financially it has failed, and that's a big problem. I haven't released the game for almost 10 years, and I failed to sell the one game that I did release. But the key to success is not never failing, it's never giving up, and if you're going to fail, it's better to fail fast. So I decided to bring out more games, so that I can afford that some of them may be unsuccessful. Ballfrog was the game that I wanted to make, but I didn't do enough testing to find out if it will have a broader audience appeal. I learned some hard lessons with Ballfrog. Despite it being a good game, I made several crucial mistakes with marketing and market research. I never had to worry about that before. Back in my day, my games were so good that everyone would just buy them without much marketing. Either that or the artists are the ones that were doing the real marketing without me even realizing it. Oops. By the way, buy Ballfrog if you want, link in the description, but watch out, the controls are very tricky. Anyways, the 4 games that I want to finish in a year are number 1, Poor Mouse. I never liked open world games. I think it's nearly impossible to provide a good gameplay loop in an open world. So I made the brave decision to scrap most of the open world design and remove the big old empty open world. It may have looked alright, but there was literally nothing to do in it. Any enemy that you could see, you could just run away from. So how would there ever be a good gameplay loop? I want tighter level design, I want amazing parkour, and I want to put gameplay first. I think more Mario 64 and less, well, modern sandbox game. I didn't even like the way that they did the open world in Elden Ring. Let's confine these spaces. By the way, you're going to see a lot of modern footage from Poor Mouse, where it's going to have blocky unfinished levels. We're going to make sure that the levels are playable before we're going to make them look good, an approach that I should have taken from the start. But better late than never, I guess. We do however have this one level in Poor Mouse that I've been running by some testers that looks pretty good, so this is, like, if you're seeing a finished level, it's that one first level. Hey guys, I'm directly inside Poor Mouse, okay, and I'm here to tell you that you must wishlist Poor Mouse, okay, please? I hate being on camera, but this is really important. We just made the wishlist. The store page on Steam, so you must do the wish list. Hugely important. Please do. Anyways, the biggest challenge with poor mouse was having to work with all this really old code. I've been working hard on modernizing the old systems and getting them ready for a larger test where I can invite testers from the channel. So stay subscribed to Himsl Games so you won't miss a chance to participate in the alpha tests. I'm going to release more detailed videos talking about the journey of rewriting this old code and getting this game back on track to finally releasing it after all this time. Oh my god, the poor mouse build feels so much smoother than it ever has. You guys are gonna love it when it comes out. When I'm mostly done with this game, the art team can work on making it all look good while I'm working on other games. Speaking of, number 2, Feasts. I've been working on this project for 2 years and it actually has come a long way in becoming an interesting game. The squid has to eat all the little eggs and avoid getting killed by the enemies in these maze-like alien levels. It's kind of like Pac-Man, but they stopped making the games that had the original Pac-Man formulas, sadly. Those could have been great games. Well, let's see if I manage to bring back the concept in some way. It's pretty fun to run circles around your enemies and avoid deadly traps. Explore alien planets, find cool new wildlife, only to steal their eggs. Haha. Number 3. Last year I made this quick little prototype where you transport packages using conveyor belts. I wanted to make it more complex by making it so that you can build a whole town where people use conveyors instead of cars. The concept is not fully formed yet. Maybe I'll go back to the simpler design without the town, where you just build conveyor belts inside a factory to transport goods to where they're needed. Or maybe I'll find a way to make the town more interesting. Either way, this should be a pretty short game, so hopefully it won't take up much dev time. Number 4. Okay, this is a big one. I don't want to tell you guys too much about it yet, but it contains copious amounts of raw meat, so I hope you're all looking forward to that. That's probably the game that thematically is the most similar to the games that I used to make with Edmund, so I think that you guys will really like it. It's kind of what would happen if Coil took place in a meat factory. More importantly, I'm going to be working with Talia, the amazing young dev who made the game Brutal Orchestra. I'm so happy to be working with this team that she's put together. Number bonus! Reese has been working on this cool vampire beat 'em up game. Show him, Reese.
Game.
It's pretty early in development, so hopefully it will be done eventually. If it does, you should hear about it on here as well. Reese edits all my videos and he did Bullfrog with me. I'm personally not working on this game, so it's not really on the list of the games that I will be finishing. Well, I might be publishing it, who knows? Okay, so me making these 4 games is hugely ambitious, but I think I have a much better grasp on my abilities now than I did back in the day. But it's fully possible that I will fall short and only make 2 of these great games instead of all 4. But I have a pretty good feeling about this timeline. I gotta really step it up, you know? I promise you that I will finish at least 2 of these games, so that's a lot more games than I used to make. That's pretty good. And then I will hopefully work with Edmund again, so that'll be new games then too. So this will be the number 1 game dev YouTube channel worth following. I can't wait to show you guys all the cool stuff we're making. But don't worry guys, I'm not going to stress out and crunch all day, work all day. I don't even know how to do that. Back in the day when I was making Isaac, I never worked more than 8 hours, and sometimes only 4 hours a day. And we got that game done real quick, okay? It was a good game. All I have to do is stop playing video games all day. And that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I actually already stopped playing so much, so it's looking pretty good, you know? So why am I so confident that I can do it? Because I will focus on the essentials. When working on Bullfrog, half of my time went into making multiplayer. And that was awesome, I learned a lot. But nobody played multiplayer. The player base was too small, so this time I will make the game single player and add multiplayer only after they've gotten popular. Which back in the day you wouldn't have been able to do, but now with Unity it's actually not that hard to add it after the fact if you've kept it in mind. Now of course you might think that I'm making a mistake by putting quantity over quality here, but I'm fully certain that these games will offer a complete and unique experience that is worth releasing. And I really should be working like this. Isaac was made in 3 months, where we were motivated to follow through on this cute little game idea. If I can make another small game that ends up getting popular, I can work on it to make it bigger, and that's the best way of making a game. When we released Isaac, I was able to fulfill my until then lifelong dream of doing nothing. All day. Woo! But eventually I had to get back to work, because there's nothing better in life than having a job that you love. With Poor Mouse I was very ambitious. If I was going to make another game after all that time, it better be great, with lots of stuff in it. I can't just make another small game after having made The Binding of Isaac. Perfectionism is what makes it hard to release anything, and that was clearly a mistake. Making small games is the best way to make sure that I actually get things done. So I'm glad that I have presented you with this new vision of my work process. Poor Mouse will be the biggest game on the list, but it's already 2/3 done. It's a very high priority to get this game out because it's been so long, and if I don't finish it now, I probably never will. Then Feast will be a manageably smaller game, and it's also 60% done. Feast is possibly the lowest priority on the list, so let's worry about the other games first. The Conveyor game should hopefully take me only a single month to finish off, and then it will be fun and it will boost my motivation to see the people working on the art for it. Untitled Meat game is moderate in size, but hopefully not particularly complex to program. Very high priority to get this one done. Just look at this cool meat cow. And here are the games that I'm not currently working on. Cracked Up is a small little game where you can lay eggs as a chicken. It was a game jam game that we made for Newgrounds Game Jam. I wanted to make a bigger version, and we got not very far. We even tried to add multiplayer, but it didn't really work out. The rest of the team wasn't hugely into making that game, so we moved on to something else. But maybe Cracked Up will return later, since it already has some kind of halfway working multiplayer. Squid Invaders! The reason why I gave up on Poor Mouse at the time was because I wanted to make a fresh start and make a sweet little roguelike. I have no idea if this game will ever get done. I don't have great confidence currently, because people might not like the way it controls. I thought it would be fun to mix the kind of controls that Asteroids has and put it into a roguelike, but seems it might just be too complicated to use. And if I remove that, then I just have a regular roguelike, so what would be the point? I'll have to do a lot of playtests to figure out if the game will ever do well with general audiences, so I'm putting it aside for a few years. Also, one big issue that I had with it was making levels. It's so hard to make really good 2.5D randomly generated levels, but there's a ray of hope. I found this really cool programmer who is able to use waveform collapse to make cool levels for me. So I hired him to make a more complex version of that will actually be able to create interesting levels and not just random 3D messes. The Pirate game. Maybe you saw this. I wanted to make a game similar to the old pirate games that existed for a while and then don't exist anymore. Really sad actually. How hard can it be to make one of those? Anyways, the same issues as with Squid Invaders. Hard to make really nice 3D levels, and I'm not confident in the controls being intuitive enough. I am, however, looking forwards to working on this game again after a few years. Maybe I'll have some great ideas how to make it all work. And hopefully that programmer I mentioned can take the extremely difficult task of making the level generation work off my hands by then. Hopefully making these two roguelike games at the same time will make it a lot easier because I can use the same solutions for many of the same problems. Alright, that sounds good, right? 4 games that I will be finishing, 3 games that I'll save for later, all cute little games that I want to play personally. So this means that this channel will be focusing more on games, Binding of Isaac Explained, game reviews, and most importantly devlogs of my new games. So it's very important for you to click that damn like button. If you want to support my game dev journey in any way, the best thing you can do is hitting that like button under the video and sharing it with your friends. If I can't get eyeballs on these videos, it will be so hard to get eyeballs on the actual games and make them sell. These games are great and I'm very passionate about them. I just need you guys to spread the word. That's why I'm planning on making more high quality game dev videos. This is the kind of content that you're going to see on this channel from now on, so stay subbed and hit that like button like I said. If you like the old variety of the content that I used to make, don't worry, I made a new channel, Anti-Reviews. All the media reviews the critics don't want you to hear about. Movie critics think they're so hot shit, but they don't understand what the common people like about movies. and that's why they're nearly useless with their pretentious opinions. Instead, listen to my media reviews, where I defend great movies such as the beloved Mario Bros. Movie 2023 from these ridiculous movie-hating critics. You cannot believe how stupid some of the people we have reviewing movies are. If you can manage to get offended by the Super Mario movie, there's no helping you. It's universally beloved by the people. On this anti-reviews channel I post weekly uploads where I talk about fun little movie related things. And soon I'm going to be bringing back the Rick and Morty videos. I got bored of making those videos and turning my favorite show into a work that I have to analyze. But I'm looking forward to continuing my season analysis when the new season comes out. I can't wait to re-binge this great show and getting back into making videos about it again when it comes out. I don't really care about that Justin Roiland drama. That's not why I stopped making these videos. Those big videos were a lot of work and I'm glad that I took a break from them till now. Alright, don't forget to keep an eye out for those playtest update videos. I need to test my games on more people so that I can see what people like about them. I used to underestimate how important it is to get a lot of people to play your games, to see where they get stuck and what annoys them. I thought I could just make the best game ever just by thinking about it. But it doesn't help when you got the best game ever if people get stuck on a tutorial. Poor Ballfrog, the world wasn't ready. Well, people get annoyed at the boss fight too, so I guess there's definitely room for improvement. While I was working on this video, I was actually working really hard on Poor Mouse at the same time, and you can see the results of that very soon. Come back in 2 weeks. I'll have a big video on my Poor Mouse progress, as well as a playtest where you can sign up, hopefully. I'll pick some people from the Discord to be among the first to play this long-awaited product. If you get far enough in the test, you'll even see some of those box levels that I was talking about earlier. Just use your imagination. Just imagine how cool these will look when they're done. Tell me in the comments which one of the games you're looking forward to the most. Do you remember when I announced Poor Mouse? It was so long ago. Were you watching my channel then? Well, don't worry, it won't be too long now. Hopefully next year this time, Poor Mouse will be done. Won't that be great? Well, don't forget to like and press the bell and press the subscribe. Can't stress this enough, you know. Goodbye, everyone.
Holy shit.